The main faction at the center of Penacony's story so far is undoubtedly the family. The planet functionally belongs to them, the Charmony festival is organized by them, and the main antagonist, at least at this point, seems to be the family. I'm sure as you work through the story in 2.0 and 2.1, you've heard some of its members being referred to as bloodhounds or from the Oak family, but this has never been really explored in great detail, at least in the story. In reality, the family is actually made up of 5 main branches, and each govern an individual aspect of the family's activities. So in this video, we are going to discuss each of these branches. Who are the Oak family? What is the main job of the bloodhounds? And who exactly are the nightingales? Before we explore that in further detail, if you want to see more Honkai Star Rail content, do consider subscribing to the channel. Given 2.1 just released fairly recently, I have to warn you that this video may contain some spoilers. The subject we'll be covering may mention certain things in the story, and I don't think they reveal too much about it, but just to be safe, consider this an obligatory spoiler warning. Most aeons tend to inspire groups of people to follow them, as most would often gravitate to a specific ideology or path. As most paths can represent a myriad of different viewpoints, it's quite common for these factions to have varying interpretations even for one particular path or aeon. The Harmony, however, is the exception to this rule, as they only have one faction following them, the family. Initially, the family was described and considered to be this homogeneous and monolithic group, where everyone was on equal standing, as the goal was to create a harmonious faction with a seemingly united front. Through our time in Penacony, however, we learned that the family is actually made up of 5 main branches, each of which are in charge of a different aspect of governance. The 5 branches are the Oak family, the Bloodhound family, the Nightingale family, the Alfalfa family, and finally the Iris family. We'll start with the branch that seems to be the de facto leaders, the Oak family. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Oak family, given it's the family our favorite wing boy Sunday belongs to. The Oak family are functionally in charge of political organization and administrative tasks related to the family. This is why they act as the leaders to the other groups, functionally coordinating and giving out instructions to them. Despite their position, they don't seem to be the highest on the family ladder, as Sunday is shown to report to an individual only referred to as the Dream Master, who is presumably the leader of all 5 branches. I also suspect that given their positions, those of the Oak family might be the followers closest to xipe and the Path of Harmony itself. Given we've seen Sunday use the power of Harmony to compel Aventurine into telling the truth, the members of the Oak family may be its most devout followers, or perhaps just given more powers due to their role. As leaders of the family, it makes sense that they would have this ability, as they might use them as a way to rein in and control the other branches and ensure harmony is maintained. Of course, this isn't mentioned anywhere and is just speculation on my part. The second branch of the family is one you might be familiar with because of their involvement in the story, and that is the Bloodhound family. The members of the Bloodhound family are largely in charge of security, safety, and instituting order. While they may seem like nothing more than glorified security guards, especially when we meet them in Penacony, in truth, they are more akin to a private military or police force. Each member was once an experienced and accomplished warrior before joining the family. The Bloodhounds functionally protect not only the dreamscape, but also have a presence outside of it in reality as well. They are very proactive in fulfilling their duties and often carry out investigations to root out problems before they materialize, and why they likely take on the name Bloodhound. You know, because they can sniff stuff out. Anyways, as their name suggests, they are also considered extremely loyal to the family and would carry out instructions without much question. While they seem honorable and dutiful, the thought has crossed my mind that if the family ever wished to silence anyone who speaks against them or threatens their harmony, the Bloodhounds are likely the ones they call to resolve such matters. So don't take them for mere police dogs. I'm sure they have done far more sinister things in the name of harmony. The third branch of the family are the Nightingales, and while we haven't met any members in the story so far, they have been mentioned several times. The Nightingale branch are described to be the builders of the family and are largely in charge of construction or fulfilling any infrastructure needs the family may have. Its members are made up of learned scholars, experienced builders, and engineers. Their responsibilities even extend to the development of the dreamscape as well and all its constructs. Because of this, the nightingales are functionally in charge of all technology the family might use and have among their ranks researchers and scientists. They are often said to be located and found near the edges of the dream world, as it's their responsibility to build out the dreamscape itself and expand its boundaries. Given that they are the builders of the dreamscape, it's very likely that they understand its true nature far more than the other branches do. As the next part of the story will likely take place beyond the boundaries of the family's dream, the nightingales may play a more prominent role in the story in 2.2 and beyond. It might also be why we are seeing those birds occasionally appear throughout 2.1 story, as coincidentally, the nightingale symbol is that of a bird perched on a branch. But that's a topic for another video. The fourth branch of the family is the alfalfa family. This group is functionally in charge of the finances and economics of the family and attract those who want to pursue financial gains. They are the bankers, brokers, and entrepreneurs that ensure the family consistently has funds to do whatever it pleases. They focus on building businesses and distributing the income they make to other branches. The members of the alfalfa branch own many of the businesses and shops in the dreamscape, and those that they don't own, they themselves have invited the vendors for. Their reach goes far beyond that, however, as they also manufacture goods and products like consumables, cars, and collectible cards, which they then sell at these very shops. The OT Mall we visit in Penacony as part of the Golden Hour Dream is also owned by this branch of the family. In the main story so far, the alfalfa family don't seem to be heavily involved with whatever is going on with the family and Penacony's story. The oak, bloodhound, and even nightingale all seem to be involved in the story in one way or another, but the alfalfa seem to only be concerned with making more money. One has to wonder whether they would be better off joining the IPC, but for now, they seem content to serve the Harmony and its family. Finally, the fifth branch of the family is the Iris family. Unlike the brutes of the bloodhounds or the opportunistic members of the alfalfa, the members of the Iris family are entertainers, artists, and those involved with hospitality industries. They are in charge of the culture of the family, but what that really means in the context of Penacony is that they are in charge of receiving guests and entertaining them, ensuring each visitor has a wonderful time within their dreamscapes. Many of them are part of performance groups like Himemia Films or the Sweet Dreams Troupe, and the movie studios we get to visit as part of 2.1 is slightly under their purview as well. Robin is considered to be one of its more prolific members, and Shoban, who we meet in 2.1 at the bar, is also part of the Iris family. What sets aside the Iris branch, at least to me, is that some of its members seem to genuinely care for the well-being of others. If you've gone through the drink mixing event in 2.1, you'll know what I'm talking about, though not all of them are like this, however. Of the 5 branches, they seem to be the least antagonistic and appear rather friendly, though you can never really tell with them as they are functionally a group of actors and entertainers. Entertainment has often been used as a way to control the masses. The Colosseum in Rome and its gladiatorial battles serve as great examples of this. So while the Iris family do seem to be largely friendly and only want to entertain, in the context of the family, they may just be another form of control, a way to ensure others are lulled into lowering their guard and doing what the family wants them to. I mean, how many of you were disarmed from Robin and Shoban just acting nice, right? But again, I might just be reading too much into this. While the 5-branch structure is described to be how the family is organized, it's not really clear if this format permeates throughout the entire family. I would imagine not all planets under their control would require dreamweavers and such, so this may be unique to Penacony. Another thing that isn't made clear is how the Dream Master, the highest ranking member, is chosen. Would they typically be chosen exclusively from the Oak family or democratically elected by each family head? Perhaps xipe themselves have something to do with choosing a Dream Master. We don't even know if the Dream Master is the leader of Penacony itself or the family as a whole. This is something that we'll likely learn only later in the story when we inevitably meet the Dream Master themselves. There is still much we don't know about the family, its inner workings, or even its members. While to the greater universe they appear as a unified group, I can't help but feel that internally they are plagued with just as much infighting as the IPC, with each branch wanting to come out on top and gain the favor of xipe. In that vein, despite Harmony having only one faction, in truth, they may actually be five, each of them vying for power and control. It's ironic to think that despite them supposedly pursuing harmony, there may not actually be any harmony whatsoever amongst its members, who all aim for loftier goals, and any cooperation is born purely out of fear. Admittedly though, this is just a guess on my part. That brings the video to an end. If you had to choose, which branch do you think you likely join, or is the family just too creepy for you? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed watching the video or learned something from it, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and as usual, have a nice day.